Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. And we have another top 10 video. Today's top 10 video is going to be the top 10 worst movies of 2024. Fortunately, but unfortunately, we're going to be taking a look at the worst of this year so far. And the rule, at least the worst of said year list that I do every year, is that I never have time to go see these movies every day, every week, and every month. But with the worst of said year movies, I go based off of from what I have seen in clips, in trailers, and perhaps other movie reviewers or critics I have seen talk about said movies that have said they are bad, or I just know in my heart and in my gut these movies are bad. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. At number 10 is Night Swim. I think this has, I want to say, Wyatt Russell and maybe another face or familiar face that people might know, but it's kind of unfortunate because they're wasted talent in here and very boring. At number 9 is the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. I know this is kind of weird, but then again, they released this as a live concert that they filmed to be put out in theaters, and honestly, I'm just not really a crazy fan of Taylor Swift. There are some good songs of hers, but I think she's really been overrated these past couple of years. And granted, this did bring people back to the theaters again, but this is just really, this is unnecessary. Number 8 is Madam Web. It's bad, it could be hilarious, but with how cliche this plot is, how uninteresting both our story and characters are, bad ADR, and that last shot of our main heroes suiting up, that is the final shot and the end shot. Throughout the movie, don't use their powers or suit up until the very end. And man, such a disappointing villain too. Number 7, In the Land of Saints and Sinners. I'm gonna be honest with you people, I made this list months and months ago, so I don't remember what this movie was about from what I've heard. But let's roll with that, honestly. Let's kind of go with that because this movie must have been pretty forgettable. Number 6 is The Exorcism. Talk about another horror franchise that is just milked to the brim, and The Exorcist suffers that with how we don't need this prequel, and Russell Crowe really isn't even giving it his all here. They're nearing down my final 5 my list, and at number 5 is Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. No Will Ferrell, no Tina Fey, no David Cross, no original cast, a very less budget animation and continuity that never existed, and characters that never existed in the original movie that are now featured in this sequel. The idea of Megamind being part of a villain team was never mentioned at all in the first film whatsoever, and this makes this so disappointing and so hurtful because I always wanted a Megamind 2. I always wanted one with everyone back and something new and something fresh, and if they weren't going to get the original cast, then they should have not made this movie at all, and especially since it just went straight to streaming where no one paid attention to it. But maybe that's for the better, because this is such a shitty film. It does not need to be acknowledged. Let's just burn this to the ground. Burn this to ash. Number 4 is Kraven the Hunter. I have no intentions of seeing this anytime soon. If I do, great. If I don't, no big deal. But honestly, I'm just glad that this is the last and final Sonyverse movie, live-action Sonyverse movies, because taking these characters and making them have nothing to do with Spider-Man and giving them such lackluster origins, minus Venom movies, have nothing to do with the MCU, nothing to do with Spider-Man, and they're so uninteresting. Number 3 is Sleeping Dogs. I think it's either Russell Crowe or Liam Neeson. One of those actors is pretty much just playing the same role as they usually play. And honestly, just thinking about this movie is making me so tired. This is making me sleepy. And honestly, let's just put this to sleep. Number 2 is The Crow. Now, I haven't yet to watch the original Crow movie. I even recently bought the DVD for it, and so I could first time watch it and review it for you guys for next year because of how much people praise this movie, and it's Brandon Lee's swan song. This is not even a swan song. This is not even a song with the lack of creativity, the lack of passion, the lack of originality, and I just feel genuinely bad for Bill Skarsgård. Alright, before I unveil my number one pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Piece by Piece. It's not a bad movie, friendly to other people and to other critics, but honestly, I just think this is unnecessary and really doesn't need to exist. This Lego story that's told by Pharrell Williams. Now, the next three films, I really don't remember anything whatsoever. Like I said, I made this list months ago, knowing this would be my list for the worst of this year. So just know that these three names that I'm going to say are just bad and forgettable. Paradox Effect, Slingshot, and Camp Pleasant Lake. Alright, my number one pick of my top 10 worst movies of 2024 is, drumroll please, Mousetrap. Now, I have nothing against the idea of taking Mickey Mouse, making him horror, but it's the idea that since Mickey Mouse / Steamboat Willie has entered the public domain, that just feels like that's what everyone is doing. Horror movie, horror movie, horror movie, and it just feels so unoriginal. It feels so non-inventive. I mean, if you gave me like a steampunk Willie, or a cyberpunk Willie, or a steamboat noir, or something with fantasy or a western, if you gave me something other than horror, I would be okay with it. But because so many people are just relying on that genre, this is just the first of many horror movies that people are going to want to make and turn into, and I'm just not here for it. I don't like the idea. It just feels so, like, done to death, and let's just end this right now before anyone else comes up with this and beats this horse to death as well. But those are the worst movies of 2024. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think were the worst of this year? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. Make sure you ring that bell to new videos every day, if not every week. Share the video with your family and friends, all the good stuff and more. Leave suggestions down in the comments. You name it, I'll look to do it as best as possible. Somewhere and sometime after this, we will now look at the best movies of 2024. So now that we've gotten the negative out of the way, let's make forward and make way for the positive. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.